What's going on, everybody? I've been spending the afternoon trying to get this stream set up on YouTube. So let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Hey, you got to get to the money. I'm gonna take it that y'all can hear me. Got BTC pulled up so far, watching to see what that's gonna do right now. Still looking pretty choppy. Yep, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Cool. Got 32 people in the chat so far. That's pretty dope. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and sub to it. We're gonna be posting at least once a week and just keeping everything up to date with the market and try to stay ahead of it for the upcoming week. So if you're new, welcome. If you already been here a couple of times, then y'all already know how this go. All right, so we got 35 people so far. I'm gonna go ahead and start it off like this. I know one guy, Flingy, he said I'm starting out right as Sunday football came on. Hey, look, most of the games I already played. I'm watching some of my fantasy teams um, play right now. I still got Cooper Cup. They got to play. I got AJ Brown that needs to put up points. Kyron Williams and J.K. Dobbins. So we gonna be good. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I'm gonna start off as always looking at some of the Mag 7. If you want something looked at, and if I have enough time, you can drop it in the chat. Let me know. I'll take a peek at it and give you my honest opinion on it. Um, Last week we had Nvidia earnings, and then we had a couple of pre-market and after the bell data that had to drop. Kind of kept the market in limbo. I haven't looked to check and see what we have going into this next week as far as data is concerned. And the market is going to be closed on Thursday, I believe, and then open Friday. So looks like Tuesday we have consumer confidence data, and then Wednesday we have preliminary GDP, unemployment claims, core PCE price index, and FOMC meeting minutes at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So it's going to be a pretty interesting week. Monday we should have kind of a trending day or a continuation day. And then Tuesday we probably see something pop off as far as the consumer confidence data jumps in there. But let's take a look at the SPY, see what we got going on. I thought we would have seen the 600 mark. Well, this 600 mark Friday, but it seems we've seen a lot of consolidation here. And I still got some levels marked off. If you watch my charts throughout the week, if you're in the Discord, or even after hours, I always post my spot, my Q, and then I post 2 tickers. And the levels have been pretty consolidated for the most part, around between this 596 level and then down here at this 587. So going to this next week, as you can see, the charts are getting pretty choppy, very choppy. We have buyers here that's interlapping with the sellers. And then we have a big gap up, and this came from the post-election run up to where the whole market just went gappy and went green. And it took a little while for it to come down, but eventually we started rolling over to fill this gap. And right now we've been watching SPY pretty much consolidate within this level right here. So that's between the 590.75 and then 584. We've seen levels consolidate pretty much for the most part. Thursday, well, for the week, because this was last Thursday. This was last Friday, Monday, all the way up until this Friday. We actually end up closing higher around this 595 area. So what are we gonna be looking for next week? As of right now, it's still gonna be consolidated. You have the buyers and the sellers right here that's trying to fight for this level here. If we zoom out a little bit, this was where prices stalled out at this 600 range after the run up. So right now, since prices retraced from here, anytime we get back in this level, which would be around here, we're going to be watching to see if that's going to be a new level of resistance and possibly pushing the price action back down. So as I always show you guys, find the level of consolidated areas and follow it all the way through, and that'll give you your zones that you will be looking for retest or possible levels of consolidation or exhaustion. So here's 600, well, 599.45, and this 595.50. So 599 and 595 are going to be my two levels that I'm going to watch for. As you can see, we got around there, and that's where the prices just decided to kind of stop. All right, I'm trying to get that box going. All right, so we got to the top of this consolidated area, and that's where prices struggled to kind of break and push back up to the 600 range. So this is what we want to see. This let me know that this is going to be resistance, and it's going to be choppy on the way back up to 599. So what do we expect? I'll look to play puts anywhere up here around this 599, 600 area, back down, because this still hasn't been filled down to this 576, 577 range. We don't know when it's going to be filled, but eventually these levels down here are going to have to be filled. So this is why I would keep considering this 600, 599 to 600 range resistance, and it could possibly push higher, but until we get like another gap up or a big spike and a hold above this 599 level, then I would expect it to go back down eventually to retest these. It's just, if you're playing the options game, then you'll want to eventually have enough time on your contract in order for that level to actually be filled. And this will be where you want to take profits at also, because since it's such a large area of demand down here, it's going to immediately, well, I'm not going to say immediately, it's going to come back around, and it's going to want to push back up to the upside to retest these. If it's enough buyers that step in down here at this bottom level, then it's going to blow through this, or it's going to gap above it and build new support at these ranges. So this would be what I watch for as far as the SPY going. I'll still be looking for puts at this 600 range, back down here to this 585 level, and we just could see a sideways consolidation continuing until something really just pops off and decides that it wants to push the market further up or further down. So as far as the SPY goes, that's what I'll be watching out for. Let's see, Monday, this kind of be around Monday's opening, around right here. So I'll be watching for 587 to be my support. and 592.50 to be my support. So let's just watch and see how this goes. If not, and it's straight price action, we're gonna continue to see this thing dip back down. Eventually, it's gonna come down here and line up, and this is where I would personally want to go long on the market around 577 or below. Somebody in the chat said PLTR, Palantir. So let's go and check that out. I know for a little while it was mooning. Didn't want to come down above 60, I believe. Yeah, 64. So Palantir still looks healthy. I don't know how it's still climbing, but it's still moving. And I think this move right here was post earnings. So we seen that, and I thought eventually we was gonna get a relief back down to at least this 46, 47 range, but we didn't. It took off with the post-election market, and it ran up all the way up to about 64. So right now we're seeing a lot of consolidated movement here in this range right there. So that's between $63.28 and $59. That's what we've been seeing prices hold up for Palantir. And it still looks healthy, actually. We're not seeing any gap downs in there, kind of like we did back here before the ER. But as you can see, we have the gap here and the gap here, and they both have been bought up pretty well, and it's holding up. So where could it go? If this holds up and is attempting to make this new support, it could have an opportunity like this to where it just nosedives back down here. But if it keeps wanting to push back up, then I would be on the lookout for, let's look for Friday. So Friday, 9:30. So we just had a continuation to the upside. It can move possibly up to about $74 or so. If it pulls back any, I would be looking for any type of support around this $59.85 or $60 range to see if it holds up, and possibly just get a sideways movement here until it decides it wants to move back down. But as long as it's maintaining where these sellers are buying in at, then we can watch it. We can watch it hold at this $59 range and keep consolidating between there and then this level right here at $64, and attempt to try to make highs until it finally runs out of steam, and then that's when we'll eventually see a gap down or a bear start stepping in to see, what's gonna happen from there. So we just keep watching it on the upside. 5K shares since 2020. I'm now at $7.77 per share average. Goodness. Congratulations, my boy. That means you was getting in at steel prices. Yeah, you was getting in at a very good price. So keep that average low. Wait for good dips. Keep buying. If this dip down here comes to where you can jump back in at anything around $41, that could be your average down right there. And I would say load up prices back right there. But hey, nice. Christine, I'm sorry, I misread it, but Christina. Nice average down. Keep holding. MSTR. Let's go to my crypto watch and look at MSTR, which MSTR has been crazy. Like I said, we seen it just absolutely flush this past week when they was selling those notes. And It dropped all the way down to the $370 range, and then it bounced back up and made a move all the way back up to 444 and 452. So if you seen my post, I said that it was a possible gap that could be filled down to like the 270 range. And I don't expect that to be filled probably until Bitcoin starts to actually roll over. I'm not big on the news with Michael Saylor. Like, I know it's a lot of good stuff going on. I know he has a plan to keep buying up a lot of Bitcoin and stuff. And I know a lot of y'all probably know the the story better than I do. But me, MicroStrategy has been it's been a profitable company. Or I know a lot of people made a lot of money on this company. So right now, it didn't hold too well. Where it retested that 447 range, and then it eventually dropped back down to this level of support around 418. So what are we gonna be looking for tomorrow? Right now, I'm watching Bitcoin to see how Bitcoin is gonna hold up overnight. Right now, it's sitting at $97. I don't know if the 24-hour market's open yet, but we can check that and see what those prices are looking at so far. Tesla's up $5.80 overnight. If you're in the Discord and you took those Tesla plays, congrats. Um, Cause we knew that it wanted to move. We just didn't know how long it was gonna take. Uh, MSTR. So right now in the 24-hour market, MSTR is sitting at 426. So it's not too much higher from where it closed at 420, 421. So going into tomorrow, like I said, my areas of interest is everywhere I got these white boxes at. I'll definitely be watching this area right here, because this is where it really kind of peaked and it sold off at. So it's possible for this 500 to 466 range to be reached again, but you'll want to watch it to see if it's gonna set up, if Bitcoin's gonna run and eventually hit that 100K. I think the highest it got was 98 or 99, but we'll want to see exactly how this plays out. It's still in a kind of an uptrend from this 372 to 380 range, to where it got pushed up. Like I said, no gap down, so this is all valuable deals. I would prefer shares just because of how volatile and the Greeks are as far as the options game goes. But you can't go wrong with shares, especially if you've been buying in when they were $80 to $100 a share, and now it's like $400 and $500, still knocking on the door, climbing higher. So I would just watch for this 380 to 370 level to hold up, because this would be our lows, our weekly lows from last week. So as long as our weekly lows hold up and we don't start making new lows, then we could see possibly retest of 385, but make moves higher and higher back to the upside to eventually get back to this $500 range. Let's see. Roger that. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Keeping a close eye on Bitcoin as well. Sam Stevens, have you already done SPY? Yes, I've done SPY. I'll spin around and let you take a look at it one more time, and then I'll do SMCI. Real quick on SPY, my levels of interest on SPY is it's gonna be that 595 to watch us break above this, because this is an older range of consolidation here. and then see if we're gonna push back up towards this 598 and maybe 600 range up here. If not, we can see support be retested around 592. If that doesn't hold up, we'll watch it come back down till about 588. And like I was telling them earlier, we do have a big gap that hasn't been actually filled down to this 577 range. So that's what I'll be watching for. I wouldn't really want to go long until this entire gap is filled and not just half of it to this 584 though. I want to see the entire thing get chopped down and see that get filled before deciding to go back long. Nike good for options call. I just posted on After Hours today about Nike. I don't believe in Nike right now. The reason why, when Jordans was a hot thing, well, when I was back in the 19, well, I don't want to make it sound too long ago, but back in the 90s and the 2000s, I was one of the ones that was in the mall buying Jordans at $200 and $250 in the mall, and they're still the same price now. So grocery prices have risen higher than Nike and Jordan prices. They not that same powerhouse that they used to be. So they started gapping down at like $115, I believe, and continuously gapping down since then. I know they got a new CEO, but I mean, as far as pioneering the company, doing something different, I'm just not a big fan of going long on Nike. I posted RL, which is Ralph Lauren, and their returns are a whole lot better if you're looking for retail. And then a couple people mentioned Lululemon, and their company is looking to go back up, or the price action is looking to push back up towards $400. So those are two retail companies you can check out. And as far as Nike, I'm just not sold on calls. If that's the direction you're looking for, I'm not big on calls going in that direction for Nike. Not yet. Some possibly can pop off, but for me, it'd be a no for Nike. SMCI, I know there's been some controversy with them filing some papers or something, or meeting a deadline with something. I'm not big on the news, but I know just enough to know what's going on as far as the news built world. But they are trying to make an effort to push back up to the upside. But as you see, it's a mixed market. You have sellers all the way up here to the $48, $49 range. And we can mark that out. And then you have sellers here at the $33 range, which is forcing it to consolidate there. And then I got a resistance here at 44.54. So my thing with SMCI, it can keep pushing up. You're getting buyers, interested buyers here and here and here, which is good. It's showing that, all right, there might be some promise in it getting pushed back up. But you're going to need a lot more than just, these little small gaps here, here, and here. As far as the company goes, I believe it's still undersold. It's still a very undersold, oversold stock. But as far as the price section goes, it looks very, very choppy. So if you're gonna invest or you're gonna buy calls in SMCI, I would highly, highly suggest to go long, like long, March probably, and you'll want to get in on the dips. So just in case any more news or something positive comes out, heading into the next earnings, you'll catch that pop. You'll get that premium increase if you are holding. So revenue was down, earnings was up, mixed market. It's not really much I can say on SMCI until it just really shows some promise, and it doesn't look like it's gonna get shorted every other day. So the 30-minute, like even when you zoom out a little bit more, you just see how much consolidation that you're getting on a bigger time scale, and it just gives it an opportunity to stay within these lower ranges, kind of like RX. If you're buying in those, you get a nice push to the upside, and then eventually you see the shorts get shorted down and push back down a lower level. So that's possibly what could be happening with SMCI, unless they get some type of partnership news or um, something comes out. But everything that comes out with this company just sounds a little shaky. Sounds like long-term investors are kind of shaky in it too. So I wouldn't just invest in until I see some more concrete. So just be careful. Buy shares if you like the company. If you go calls or options, um, go long at least to March. It's cheap enough to where you can afford to buy some closer strike prices or in the money call contracts to stay within there. I wouldn't go no higher than $43 strikes right now. My stance on it personally. I believe it. People are scared of the company going down, so they sell anytime they have profit. I believe it. They're not an Nvidia, they're not AMD or you know something to where it's already concrete and it has a foundation built. So we'll just see how that moves. I'll go and look at Nvidia. They just had earnings, and they kind of have a mixed chart too to kind of keep them in limbo. But for the most part, it's Nvidia. Anything can happen with this company. Anything. So right now, big consolidated moves. Here's highs and here's lows. So right off top, 150 and then 137. That's the range we're seeing Nvidia move up and down from. If you're trading it, if you're getting burnt and you're not making any money on it, you could be buying in the middle or buying at the wrong time, hoping that it goes up even further, and then it comes back down and retest these lower levels around 138. So here's a level of demand right here to where you seen the investors pretty much step in and push the prices back up, and then earnings came around. I never recommend just plain earnings anymore. It used to be fun, but now you've seen a lot of people get burned both directions, and we kind of seen Nvidia do that with that it had a drastic drop down to I think this 142, 141 level. Then you seen a move back up to this 152, 153. And if you held overnight, the IV crushed you, and then the delta probably did its thing too, and the premiums finally regulated. So right now, this is the seesaw that I'll be watching, up and down. And until we just get outside of this choppy market that we've been in, you know, you have a gap down here that hasn't been filled at 119. Sometimes we pull away far enough to where it just doesn't get filled. But going into these last 2 months, I mean, anything can happen. We got a Santa rally, possible Santa rally that might be around the corner. We'll just see how it's gonna play out. So going into this week, I will be watching support. Let's go in a little further. 5 minutes showed even more gaps that hasn't been filled yet, and this is a partially filled gap at 140.31. But you see, this hasn't even been filled here at 134. So I'll continue to watch for support here at 138 and see if that holds. And we could keep seesawing, but if we break below this 138 level, then we can see prices decline even more, fill this gap down here to about 134, and then bounce off this support at 132. So that'll be what I'll be watching for Nvidia. Um, Cause it's eventually gonna have to get filled, and we'll just have to be in position for it when it does. So I wouldn't quite go long on Nvidia just yet, not just yet, cause I want, like, the same way we just seen the SPY, and I told you I wouldn't want to see it. I wouldn't want to go long on SPY until that gap down about 568 or so gets filled. Same thing with Nvidia. Um, just kind of take your profits when you get them and wait on the drop down to fill these gaps, and then once you start filling those, then that's when you can start throwing in those long contracts and see what's gonna happen, because we could keep rejecting around this 152 and 151, kind of like we did over here at 148, 149, because we got up here to 152 and they immediately shorted it back down within its range to get it back under 150. So if you see a very quick wick back to the downside like that, that's letting you know that, hey, the price is touched up there, but they're not ready to hold up there yet. They pushed the prices back down for a reason. So it wants to fill here, and then it's going to try to fill this one and then that one. So don't get caught in the euphoric moments, especially when Nvidia, because we know that it's capable of running crazily, and then it's capable of coming right back down. So be careful. If you're unsure, I always say just buy shares. Can't go wrong with that. You can't lose. You don't have theta decay like you do with options. You can buy those and just hold on to them and just let it do what it does. If it comes down here, then grab some more. There's always a way to make money out the market. You just have to be educated to make the right decisions based off of how your portfolio is set up. You don't want to just YOLO too much of your money into options, especially if you aren't the one doing the full due diligence on your entries and exits, because it can go terribly, terribly wrong if you depending on somebody else and they miss something, or you don't double check, why you're getting into it, and there's nothing that you can do in order to avoid, placing a stop loss or knowing when to get out or when to take profit. Things like this happen. So if you bought up here, stuff like that happens, especially after earnings. So what do I think about Wolf Speed and Coinbase? Wolf Speed, is that WULF? Is that this one? No, that's terrible. Give me the ticker for Wolf Speed, and I'm finna look at Coin in the meantime. We actually traded Coin, I think it was either yesterday or the day before. Let's see. And it was trading at a decent amount. Wolf, okay. All right, that's frozen, but we took calls right here at this, right here, around this 304 range, and we end up taking profit up here at 311. So right now Coin is sitting at 303. And it could push up to it could push higher to the upside. Like I said, it's all dependent on Bitcoin. So if it's at 303.42 right now, I mean it's sitting somewhere, it's sitting right along my support level right here. So I mean that's a good place right now for it to be at. That's a good price right there. And that could make a retest or push back up to the 312 region. And this will be where you'll see your next level of consolidation. I would kind of draw it like right there. The way that it trades, I'll probably look at, you know, the consolidated area like right there. So I'll watch for 312.55. I wouldn't go any higher than this 312 strike price. Reason because it's possible that that's a possible strike price that it can hit. Um, Anywhere above that, it's a possibility that it rejects and that it doesn't make it above that. So my goal with strike prices are always to be able to take one that can be hit and possibly go in the money. Um, if it decides to drop more or reject around here and push back to the downside, then what we'll look for going into tomorrow, you'll look for bounces around the 300 mark back to the upside, and then you will make 305 to 306 your new strike price target, and then you'll watch for resistance up here. If we break above and we decide that we want to go and retest this 312 level, which that'll be another price target right here, then we'll take profit there, and then 317 will be my next level to go out as far as my strike prices go. So that's how I teach people to trade or find their strike prices. You go out the money with your next level of resistance, and that'll be your strike price. Once it hits, you take profit, and then you take a piece of that profit and you throw it into, a 318 call with a stop loss. So that way you close some profit. You get into another one to take a a higher strike price, and then you set a stop loss. So if you do make money, if it does break above this 312, retest and then pushes back up again, where you just hit another home run, or you got more money in your pocket and you didn't risk the money that you got from here to here. So you always want to keep recycling profits once you get them. You don't always have to hold them and see if you can go, from $100 to $600. Recycle your money, put it into the next out the money strike price, and play it like that. Which trading view plan do you have? I have the one above free, just so I can have a couple of extra indicators, but I'm probably overcharging myself because I only use 4. Same, but I held hoping it would bounce back to 315. I mean, it was possible, but the thing with Fridays, I mean, sometimes you never know. You can get a low volume push to the upside, or low volume push to the downside, or you just can get a consolidated day. You never really know with Fridays. So this will be the levels that I watch going into tomorrow. I watch for this 304 level. I'll look for 312 as my next level of resistance, and then I'll look for 298 to 299 as my next level of support. And as you can see, if it does bounce around this 300 level, then that'll be your higher highs, lower highs. So here to be 1, here to be 2, and then this to be your third level, lower highs. But that'll be my game plan going into the coin tomorrow, depending on where it opens up. You have your mental levels already planned out to jump in or jump out, depending on what you want to do. If we go and look at wolf speed, I don't think I ever traded this one or charted it, but it's a nice little small cap stock. Let's look at the daily. And luckily, this is something that I haven't charted before, so I get to walk you guys kind of through my method of charting and go from there. I'm not big on the RSI. I do watch MACD from time to time, and Bollinger Bands, I use them here and there. Moving averages, I use them here and there. So it just all depends on how it's actually what's needed. Let's say that. So right now I'm just kind of phasing through different time frames to see, where prices have been at and where they are heading towards. Just because, I'm big on historical data. I want to see where a stock once was and how it's looking. I want to see how healthy it is over the long term. I want to see if it's a profitable company. I was telling someone, financials, the due diligence, the stuff that you look for that's not in the charts, all of that's helpful to help you determine whether this is a company that you want to invest in or not. But the thing with me is, I feel like, my personal opinion, my edge is that I don't focus too hard on the news, and I focus on the data that I can see with my eyes, because I can line this up and see if this is something that I really want to invest in or not. So just looking at this right off the top, this is something that I really would just start loading up in. At one point in time, it looks like it was about $140 stock. Right now, it's trading at $8, and that's within the span of 2 years. So I'm not sure what type of company it is. Electronic technology, semiconductors. Okay. I'm not sure why it's dumping so hard over the years or whatnot, but yeah, it ain't showing me too much promise. Not right now. It could need a partnership, could need some type of more info, but I wouldn't start loading up until one of these candles start closing green. Because the thing is, you want to start buying in the beginning of an uptrend and not trying to catch a falling knife in a downtrend, if you know what I'm saying. So, um, like for instance, right now, you got something like that for me. And the price action should start tightening up in a little bit. And then that'll be where you'll want to probably start buying shares at. Or, take calls or however you looking to invest in it. But as you can see, the price action starting to slack up. Now that it's, damn near a penny stock. Yeesh. And you can see all these gap downs that we have, which is, company ain't, like, I would have to go and look into it some more, but it's not doing too well. And as you can see, as it gets closer to this gap down, it starts to flush back down. And here we are trading back into this $11 range, $11.50. You can expect, well, you got buyers right here and then you got sellers right here. So it all depends on what's coming. The next earnings date is 129. The last one, 11/6. So we could see something with, closer to earnings, probably through December. But right now, the company just looks like it's selling off and it's continuing to make lower lows until it finally forms a bottom somewhere. Once it breaks out, then you'll want to look for probably something like this. It doesn't have a lot of uptrend momentum, so it's kind of hard to tell. But you'll look for a breakout somewhere up in here at the $16.50 range. The retest may send it flushing back down here, since this is where the sellers are. But if it gaps up above it, then you can expect for the buyers to step in once they take out this seller's area and then push back up to, let's just say hypothetically it wants to bounce up to the $23.50 range. So that'll be over here, that was your support. Over here, that'll be your resistance around here. So we could see it decide to continue to push up and make its way up to this next gap down. And then that's where buyers, well, sellers will push back in and kind of flush the prices back down. And then we might see it bounce sideways here, or it just continues to drop back down to an old support level, which would be $15. So um, that's just how I see it. It's kind of hard to buy into a stock when it's been falling for so long, and then you constantly seeing red gaps, red gaps, red gaps, red gaps. It lets you know, all right, they pushing the price lower for some reason, and whether it's been disclosed or not, that's just what the charts are showing. So, yep, you hit it on the head with RX. Hey, I told you, a lot of people like buying stocks in certain companies, but if the charts ain't lining up, I'm not gonna tell people to buy, because hey, I won't want my money flushed down the toilet like that. So, full speed Coinbase, trading plan, appreciate you. Thank you for your honesty, because Reddit's going crazy over this one, and I'm not sure why. If you talking about Wolf, I don't know why either. I don't know why either. Until it breaks above this $15, $16 level, hey, it ain't showing me nothing worth promise. So we'll just have to see how that plays out, and we'll just go from there. Mara was looking decent. And this was something that I had threw out in the Discord to you guys. This $29 call, and I think I seen the January. I think January was the day that we went with, but it filled the gap down here, and it came back up, and it's right back above this 25, and this is where I started a buy it, this $25 level, and we thought it was gonna flush, which it did. It just didn't flush as hard as MicroStrategy. But I still have a $29 price target on it. $29, and it possibly can push up to about $30.65 if it continues on the move up. Now, just like Coin and MSTR, it does have gaps down here. And I wouldn't consider these gaps to be filled until Bitcoin starts showing weakness. So this is something that we'll just have to watch and see how it holds up. We'll want to see it definitely hold above this 2281. Well, let's put 2255, because this was the weekly lows. So we'll want to see it maintain above these levels and continue, even if it's a slow uptrend. And you have those contracts months out, even a March $29 contract, you can buy the dip. It's apparent that crypto is not going anywhere. So $29 would be my next out the money strike price. If it drops back below here, then we'll go with a $25 strike price, and so forth and so forth every time it drops down. If you want to save you some money, because apparently when this thing moves, it moves. And we just average down with like a 22 strike price. And that's what makes options trading so much more, what's the word? It makes it better when you know how far out the money you can go. Because you know how to leverage your money. You don't have to spend too much money going in the money. And you can get an out the money strike price just far enough to where it'll hit, and then if you can trim some, then you can hold those, and you can ride a 22 call strike price, and you can ride it all the way up to that $25, and you get that delta increase. So Mara still looks healthy. It just all depends on what Bitcoin's doing. and how it's going to continue to try to push back to the upside too. And as you can see, it broke this. I drew this right when I started the live, and it broke beyond that, and so now it's going to try to push back up here. But the reason why I drew this box is because this was an old level of support, and it pushed above here, and then it came back down and broke all the way down here to this $96,000 range. So now that it's coming back up, I always tell you guys, look for the resistance. Look for the support turn resistance. So we've seen the prices drop down here and eventually curl back to the upside, but then on a second attempt, it flushed right through it. So now we're seeing it come back up and retest, and we're gonna make this support level resistance over here, and you can short whenever it gets over here to this line here, and watch it come back down. So Bitcoin moves a little bit faster than stocks. So if we see those levels get retested, when it gets up here, you can start shorting coin, Amara or MSTR, because the prices are probably going to push back down and come back down here. And by the time it gets down here, then coin, Mara, and MSTR should be following. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Coin was at 304, I think, when we talked about it, and now it's sitting at 303. So market might open flat. It might open flat. We'll just have to see, because SPY is sitting at 598, so it's a couple dollars off. Let's look at Tesla, because that was something that I was messing with last week. And I just believe in Tesla, especially since Trump is in office. I think that's what we're going to, this is where we see Tesla really blow up and take off. So Tesla right now is consolidating, and it's a little bit above the levels that we seen Friday. So right now it's trading at 358.50. So it's sitting right about here. So this is Monday's opening bell range, and then this is kind of midday. So my thing was, I told my members that, hey, you can start buying calls about right here, because we want to see this retest. Now we're getting the gap up if it holds overnight. So if we get a green gap up, we could see prices come back down and fill that gap and then push back up and retest those highs. Or if it decides to hold, then we're watching Tesla push even higher and do what Tesla's been doing this year, and possibly push toward this 370 range. So if you swung calls, and I actually didn't swing them, I took profits on mine once I seen some green, just because I wasn't sure how the market was going pan out, just because we seen this big jump right here. We called calls. We went calls right here Friday. Yeah, we called calls right here, and it was a 347.5 strikes for zero days, and it actually went in the money and skyrocketed up here. And if you guys held that, congratulations on that zero. It's a beautiful move up. I took a December call, and I just ended up closing it, which I guess I should have held it now that I see it. But Tesla's just strong, especially with Trump being in the office. We've seen it suffer poorly these last couple of years, dropping down to 212, 210. And I think the shoe's on the other foot now. We've seen Tesla do very well, and we've seen Meta kind of get decimated over the past few weeks. So I think you can kind of flip flip the script on those two stocks because we've been watching Meta hit all-time highs and climb rapidly over the last couple of years. So now it looks like Elon's turn to draw the bus, and we're probably gonna start seeing some more push to the upside by the time Trump actually gets into office. I got 370 up here, and then up here I got 390-ish. If we continue to make this little gradual push, even if it does something like this, and we start watching this gradual push, like, we're not sure how high it can go, but I think it has a lot of promise over the next couple of years. So definitely keep your eyes on Tesla. If you know that's where the money's gonna be at, you can't never go wrong with buying shares and loading up for this Trump election term and just watching Tesla do what it do. You never know. One day it might be at $500, and by the time Elon, Trump serves his full term, no telling where Tesla could be, because he's gonna be the one opening doors for him. So I definitely will want to, if we gap up, I would definitely want to grab calls anywhere around here about 351 to 350, and I'll be looking for out the money strike prices around 360-ish. Probably gonna have to go long, put a little money on the contracts, because you're gonna see a nice size IV, maybe around 50 or 60%, and then you will definitely want to make up for the theta decay, because you don't know how long it's gonna take to get up there, but just know that it's going up there. So load up on your shares on Tesla, especially if it gaps up. Buy the dip at about 350, 349, and 345 for right now, because this is gonna be a new strong level of support here. That's gonna be a new level of support going into this upside right here. So 345 would be your new bottom for now, unless it just flushes past here, but definitely right here. And I was talking about Meta being inversed, and as you can see, it's kind of been moving sideways too. Chart's not as nice looking as Tesla, and you can kind of see what I was talking about as far as since Trump's taken office or post-election, we've been watching Facebook get beat up pretty bad. So there's the drop down, there's the gap down, and then there's more rounding out and consolidation here. So we have sellers sitting at this 575, 576 range. That's going to be resistance until proven otherwise. We'll just have to, play the reject here and see if that doesn't hold and pushes us back down. But yeah, see if that pushes us back down. So where is Meta at right now? Meta is at 561.30. So it's barely trading above Friday's, choppy levels. So we'll just have to watch. I'll take the lows about right there. So we just have to watch 565 and 552 levels. Watch that consolidated range. If we see the breakout, you see you have fake outs here and you have fake outs here. That was kind of the burn premiums in both directions and keep them in the chop. So if we break out here, you can watch for the levels to push back up to 576, where we got the sellers waiting at, and then you can take the short back down. We'll probably have to look at the daily candles to see if it forms some type of uptrend over the week, and that possibly could give it some momentum to push back toward that $600 mark. But as of right now, it's just been getting beat up. Like I said, Tesla is the one that's been reaping the benefits. I really don't have a support level right now until like 518, 520. So normally what you see certain stocks, they'll pump up and they'll make a nice move to the upside like Tesla. Then you will see other stocks like Meta that'll perform very poorly, kind of lag behind. And while Tesla's pushing, kind of like Friday, you will see this flush back down, and this will flush down and make new lows. Tesla flushes down and it retests support levels in order to move back up and keep the SPY and the Qs pushing higher. But you would just see a particular sector underperform, like Meta, even like Google, which has been getting beat up. So you gotta watch companies like these that's constantly getting shorted and gapped down and things of that nature. Like honestly, I think Google is ready to grab some calls again on the way back to the upside because you got buyers right here. So I know eventually it's gonna come back up to this 170 range. You go 170 out the money and manage your risk while it's down here. If it drops down here further to this 160 range, I definitely think you'll want to go back up because mm, that'll be your one, two. So that'll be your third leg down. And normally, stocks drop in three legs majority of the time, and then they eventually reverse back to the upside. So as long as we don't gap down again, I would take 170 strikes on Google back to the upside and just see how that plays out. This would be a nice money maker to go long on, just because it is so beaten up so quickly. So we can watch out for that too. Um, I would probably say go February strikes at the 170 range. It shouldn't be no more than maybe about $300 or $400 maybe. Let's see, Google. Well, Google's already at 166.04. But if you go January 17 strikes at 170, right now they're priced in at 465. So, I mean, that's good theta, that's good delta, uh, and that you can ride that all the way back. Even if you double down, you can ride that back up as long as there's no more of these sellers gaps. That'd be a nice ride all the way back up to 170, and some nice money that you can make. And let's see, I'll look at two more that I know a lot of people have been watching. I'll look at ASTS and then I'll look at cores. All right, so ASTS was shorted very, very bad. Ooh, that ain't good. All right, so ASTS is being forced to consolidate pretty much between let's see, that's 2663, and then they got buyers down here at $22. So right now you just seeing it pushes up and then it gets sold back off. Buyers are here in this area at 23. So now we seeing the price action gets tightened. If we go and look at this 30-minute time frame, all right, let's see. All right, so if we go and we look at this 30-minute time frame just to see more of the movements, we can get a tightening price action between this 24.50 and then this $23, $24 range, and it just trades sideways here. Reason because, like I said, you have sellers right here, you have buyers right there. So shares is the way to go once again, just to avoid the theta decay, because you don't know how long it's gonna stay within these ranges. if I'm going calls, I'll look for the dip, honestly. I'll look for the dip below 23.50, maybe down to 23, as long as it doesn't break the lows right here at $21.50, back to the upside to $27. You just want to be careful. You want to see this thing gap up and make some moves to the upside and get out of this chop zone. So that's what I'm telling people. Do your due diligence, double check, know what you're looking for, draw your trend lines. Sometimes the company research and figuring out what they do and their financials and stuff, sometimes it can be misleading, sometimes it can be true. They just don't have, the product to show for it, or whatever's the case. Just wait for the breakouts or wait for the dips to come in if you like the company, and then you can start buying then, because right now it's just pretty much sitting in smaller and smaller ranges until it finally makes a move in a direction, and we'll see how that goes. So stay away from it or buy shares and just dollar cost average. I said I look at cores. Cores actually looks good, and it's continuing to climb. Scared about that $13, 16. I would take an average in right there, but as far as it goes, we could see this thing push all the way up to $20 next. So it's trying to flip the supply and demand right there. So as you can see, if we do make another dip, this dip falls into the bottom of this support range, which should warn us going back up. Since we've been looking at a few charts, if it breaks below this and wants to come up here, you consider that support until it decides that it wants to make a higher move up past that gap down. So as long as that happens, we'll be good. But I think cores looks good. I know a lot of people that's been promoting it, a lot of people have been buying it. It looks like a strong company. I think if it ever drops down for whatever reason to this $13 level, I think you should load the boat. Load the boat on shares, and load the boat on options too. Buy calls. I just don't see it gapping down any, and then when it does flush, it's just straight price action intraday, and it normally gets bought all the way back up. So this is a nice company to buy as of right now. It's one of those charts that I'll just continuously buy on any dips. So I do like that one, and that's just a better one versus RXRX. And it looked like it did exactly what I told you guys it was gonna do, and that turned into support for it, and now it's driving prices lower again. So I told you, if it gets down here about this $5 mark, if you like the company, load the boat. It's getting shorted around this $5 to $6 range. I see little gaps here. You're gonna have to be careful, because a lot of people are buying it, and the bottom right now is $5.15. So it's in the process of pushing lower. RFK Jr. got appointed to be in the White House, and since then, pharmaceutical companies have been suffering. So RXRX, Eli Lilly, Novo. I haven't looked at Pfizer, but I know RXRX is one of the ones. And yeah, pharmaceutical companies have been suffering, so just be cautious on those. I think Eli Lilly will be good, and Novo. I think both of those companies would be good just because they're not really vaccine companies, but they have so many other drugs. that they are participating in weight loss, Alzheimer's, so much other stuff that they getting clearance on. But RX isn't looking too hot right now, and just proceed with caution. Can you do ET? Yeah, I think I can squeeze it in. ET, energy transfer. Okay, energy company. Beautiful chart so far. Beautiful chart. Wow. Sheesh. Look at that. All right, so this is a good chart, and it's even a better chart knowing where it came from. $35. So I think this is a good chart. I think this is a good price action. I think money can be made on this stock. Okay. That's a bottom. It's been going just straight vertical almost. You got some of this stock? Like you holding this? If you are, that's nice. Like you making money. And the crazy thing, like I've been watching ticker symbol ENPH, and it's been right now, yeah. I've been watching the ENPH, and it's been getting drugged, and I think it's trying to come back, but it's nowhere near as nice as this chart right here. And if you're watching me chart right now, I made a video about this called top-down analysis. I just go to higher time frames, like I said, to see where the stock's coming from, and I'm trying to see where it can go back to if it's maintaining a nice uptrend. You know, we even got a little gap up right here. Lets me know buyers are still stepping in. This is a nice energy stock. All right, so right now it's in the air. When will it come down? Nobody knows, but it's pumping. So as of right now, I would like to see if I'm a buy. I want to see a move right here. That's why I want to see. That's where I want to see the price that if I want to buy long terms between 17.50 and $17, roughly 16.94. The reason why that lines up with this gap here, and then you possibly can see some panic selling, which drive the prices down, and that'll kind of lined up with this support level here. Daily. We kind of can draw a trend in here, but I think I'm kind of pushing it. But you can kind of fit that in there too. and that's just a second trend. So it'll have to break this structure and that structure in order to push down here. But as far as it being up this high, I wouldn't want to buy it. I might be missing the train, but it's fine. I don't like buying on FOMO price actions. And right now, since it's been so vertical, it normally gives you an opportunity to buy in the sideways movement. When it moves sideways for a good little minute. We seen it here, and it kind of made a cup, and then rocket it off some more. So as above, so below. You can see this rocket up and then kind of arc back down if it does decide to. You can watch for a bounce somewhere around here at the 1775 range. If the structure breaks, send it down to next level support around 1745. That structure breaks, then you can look for that mid $16 range. I will buy right here just in case some type of support catches it here. Just because the support levels here doesn't mean that it's gonna necessarily touch it. What'll happen is it'll bounce here, and then it might come back and retest this later, and then um, it'll line up later on down the line, like around here somewhere. So I would definitely look to buy if it hits around $16. Set your alerts for $17, bro. And if it comes down that way, scoop some more up. It gapped down, but they didn't stand a chance. Buyer squeezed them right on out and pushed on to the upside. So that'd be what I keep my eyes on with that. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the night here. I just wanted to hop on here, go through some charts, talk some prices, and see what you guys are looking at. What am I trading? I was trading Tesla. I went over a little bit earlier. I tried to trade Eli Lilly last week, but the volume was low and the spreads were tremendously apart. So I think I'm gonna leave that alone for a little bit. And other than that, I'm trading all Mag 7. So everything that you see over here, SPY, Nvidia, Amazon, Microsoft, all of those, that's what I'm trading. Yeah, set your alerts for $17. And if it hits, well, no, set your alert for 1750. So that way you catch the top of support, and then if it drops down below that, you already be ahead of the game, and you'll watch it as it comes down more and fills that gap. But yeah, I'm trading Mag 7 because that's just mostly that has the most volume. The contracts are liquid, so I can get in and out. You can set stop losses, and you don't have to worry about, you know, that not being filled and not having terribly bad spreads on the options when you are getting into it. So I try to stick to Mag 7 every once in a while. I venture off to crypto stocks or some pharmaceuticals, depending on what sector the market is in. Like cost, they've been moving pretty heavily, but for the most part, I'm staying on Mag 7. So, but I appreciate y'all for coming, for tapping in, looking over a few stocks, giving me some recommendations, giving me a chance to kind of give you guys some pointers and help out on the chart or give my advice on a couple of things. I'm feeling good about the market. We'll see how it play out. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the family. Go ahead and tap in with your boy. If you're watching it and you're getting something out of it, hit the like button. Let me know that I'm doing my job and helping you guys out. So we'll see you in the morning. See you on After Hours. Discord running smooth, running strong. If you're looking to join it, hop into the Patreon. That'll open up the doors to everything else if you really want to join the Royal community. And other than that, we're going to make this money this week, and we're going to have a good Thanksgiving. So if you got any questions, tap in with me. Y'all know how to find me, and I'll catch up with y'all later on.